Okay, so I want you to take a portrait of you here, Jordan.
Okay.
Make you look as handsome and normal as possible.
This isn't really a portrait lens.
No, it's like an environmental thing. You're gonna look great.
Okay.
Yeah, so come closer. Yeah, closer.
Are
No.
you sure?
Yeah. The edge of the
This
edge
looks good?
Yeah, the edge of the frame is exactly where you want wide angles. I'm gonna make you look so handsome.
Okay.
Everybody looks good when you shoot right up into them. And open your mouth a little bit more seductively. Yes, that's seductive. Welcome back, DPReview TV viewers. It's Chris Nichols here, and today I thought we'd go on a little bit of adventure through Inglewood because we've got a very exciting piece of gear to test out. This is the brand new Sony G Master FE 12-24 F2.8. That does make it the world's first F2.8 full frame zoom that goes down to 12mm wide angle. Now, a lot of wide angles you're going to shoot at f8 or f11, but because this has such a unique wide aperture for this kind of lens, I thought, why don't we go into some of the shops around Inglewood, see if we can get permission to shoot, hopefully we can, and take some pictures in those low light situations where that fast aperture can really help you shine handheld. So we're going to head into the Silk Road Spice Merchants. We got permission to take a few shots in there, and it always smells so good in here. I've got their green Thai curry, it's fantastic. It's good to Now, at first I thought 12-24 2.8 full frame, this lens is going to be a huge bowling ball to carry around. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It's really actually quite lightweight, 847 grams, just under half a knocked, right? Pretty impressive, 86,000 pounds, something like that. It is very easy to carry. I'm not finding it a burden to walk around with it on this body, and it balances very well. Like any G Master, very ruggedly built, very well sealed. Now, with any sort of fast ultra wide zoom lens, yeah, you're not going to get any filter threads on the front. We have an incorporated hood here protecting that large glass element, so this means that you do have to use cut gel filters on the back. It's not my favorite solution. I would maybe use it for NDs. You can see here we cut one ourselves. We didn't have the template, but they actually do provide you a little template so you can cut these accurately, and it is quite a nice holder. I can see Jordan using it for video purposes. Okay, so we're gonna go inside Recordland next. I mean, biggest vinyl collection we have here in Calgary, and I love this shop. Really tight spaces, so it should be really nice for the ultra wide angle to just give room where there isn't any. All right, so there's an awesome space to shoot in, and you know, it's a very dark location there, very small spaces, and I think we have some interesting observations. Now, one of the really fun things about wide-angle lenses is just how they push the background far away. You get that very three-dimensional look, lots of converging lines, and it's a lot of fun in a small, tight space like that to make everything look bigger. But you often get a kind of stretching in the corners, and of course at 12 millimeters, we're gonna get that as well. There's not much you can really do about that. That's just the look of ultra-wide lenses. However, there's also distortion where, you know, straight lines start to curve and bend, you know, things barrel out or pin cushion in, and although a lot of that can be effectively controlled in post, I'm finding that the G Master 12-24 is handling it very well just with the lens itself. Now, in Recordland, of course, it is very dark in there. I'm hand holding a lot. I'm shooting almost exclusively at 2.8, pushing ISOs to 200 or 400. And I know you guys want to see a whole bunch of samples at f8 and f11, and you'll get some of those for sure. But really, we're excited to play with this at 2.8. And one of the things I'm actually very impressed by, just handheld at higher ISOs, I'm still getting very good center sharpness results here, wide open at 2.8 throughout the zoom range. So even in these not optimal conditions, we're getting very good results. I am actually really impressed by the sun stars on this G Master. You can see examples here, whether we're shooting 12mm or 24mm, we get nice, clear, defined edges. And I think if you like to make that part of your landscapes, you're gonna enjoy this lens for that. All right, we're gonna head into the next page. Fantastic bookstore, used and new, plus coffee. Jordan's very happy because he's got himself another coffee. So this is around the time where we talk about things like chromatic aberration and longitudinal chromatic aberration, LOCA, which is that color fringing from out of focus areas in the front and back. And this is a very advanced formula. I mean, first off, Sony has put 4 spherical elements into this lens, 3 XA spherical elements, the most that they've ever put in a lens formula. XA stands for, by the way, extremely awesome. I'm pretty sure we'll fact check that. And it actually has the largest XA element they've ever put into a lens as well. Now, this should give us good optical quality, nice corrections, and minimal chromatic aberrations. And I just shot some of these power lines up here against a bright sky, and you can see here just a little bit of chromatic aberration. I don't think it's going to be an issue. We did some tests here. LOCA doesn't seem to be a problem as well. So as we expect from a G Master lens at this price point, very well controlled. Now, of course, with an ultra wide angle, depth of field is usually extensive. However, if you get up close and use that 2.8 aperture, you can certainly get nice shallow depth of field. Now, of course, at 2.8, it's going to be very round, very circular shape to the bokeh, quite nice soft look to it. Even stop down though, the multi-bladed aperture keeps things nice and round. I like that. The only other thing I'd say there though is the bokeh does have a distinct harsh ring around the outside. It's not terrible, but you might find it gives it a bit of a busy look in the background. Now, I also shot a bit of a flare test here. Again, you get a little bit of loss of contrast, but overall, we've seen G Master coatings. They're very good, and they do a good job of controlling them. Straight out, I think every Westphalia owner should buy this lens. Not that it will actually make the space any larger or more comfortable, but visually, everybody will think you've got a mansion inside there. 4 XDM linear motors are driving these elements. You might say, well, why does a wide angle lens really need to focus that fast? Because traditionally they haven't, but really, especially here because we can shoot at 2.8, it could be very useful if you were shooting really up close stuff to far. Think live concerts or, like classic wide angle skateboard shots, things like that. But you're shooting wide open, you've got fairly shallow depth of field up close, and you need this lens to keep up with a fast body up to 20 frames per second. With that many motors, this lens can do it. So we're gonna head into the Kent of Inglewood Shave Shop. Fantastic place, all sorts of stuff for shaving. Don't worry though, I'm keeping the beard. I'm waiting until I'm about 60, then I'm gonna take this off and gain another 20 years back. But they sell axes and everybody needs an axe, right? The minimum focusing distance on this lens is 0.28 meters, which for anybody who's not using metric is about 28,000 leagues under the sea. And again, I love the shot, just nice and close, really make what's up close large and prominent, and everything else falls away in the background. All right, it's the next day. We've had a chance to look at the files. I'm out here in nature surrounded by songbirds like the Disney princess I am. And looking at the files, first off, it's a G Master lens. We expected very high performance. I would say this lens is absolutely capable of handling any sort of contemporary camera's resolution and probably many cameras into the future. I know you guys are concerned about the resolution throughout the range, and certainly 24 millimeters was good, but everybody's really concerned about what about 12 millimeters where we'd expect the lens to fall apart. And that's where I was surprised. Resolution on this lens at 12 millimeters, very good, even wide open at 2.8. Looking at the samples here, shooting at 2.8 wide open, the centers are still very usable. We get good results there. Into the corners, you see a little bit of softness. You stop down this lens to 5.6, as you can see in the samples here. At 12 millimeters, those corners are going to sharpen up a little bit more. At 24 millimeters, same kind of thing. So I'd have no problem shooting this lens wide open and being happy with the resolution. And if I want absolute sharpness right across the field, stop down a little bit. I'm gonna be very pleased with the results. Now, what about as a video lens? First off, of course, it is close to being totally parfocal, which means I can zoom the lens and I don't lose my focus point, which you might be able to use for some interesting slow pulls or crashes. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of breathing. It's not terrible, but as we rack focus from front to back, you will see the focal length does change a little bit, and that's too bad. But definitely I could see some video users enjoying the ultra wide aspect here for certain shots. I mean, the fact is G Masters are typically fantastic lenses. This is no exception. I am amazed by the fact that it's still basically the same size and weight as other manufacturers' 14 to 24s. I'm blown away by the fact that the 2.8 is absolutely very usable, as is the 12 millimeters. And it's nice to see that as much as Canon and Nikon are entering the mirrorless world and making big optical splashes, Sony is still there to make some innovative products as well. So yeah, this is a review where I really don't have much negative to say about the lens. What's the catch? Well, it's a G Master, and that means it is going to cost a lot of money, and this lens is no exception. That is the price of admission to have this very unique product. But I think it might be worth it for some of you guys out there. Leave comments below though, let us know what you think. Of course, Instagram and Twitter. And please subscribe to the channel. You know, Jordan and I have a lot of kids between us now. Think of the children. We need more numbers. Please subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate that. Check out DPReview.com. We'll have sample galleries for this lens on there. Thanks so much for joining us. We shall see you soon.